The Whispering Shrine. The village of Okuru was not on any major map. Surrounded by dense forest, rocky hills, and streams that whispered secrets, the people of Okuru lived quiet lives, holding tightly to their traditions. But among all their customs, one stood out, the shrine they never mentioned aloud. It was called Ulo Enchita, the House of Memory. Once, centuries ago, it was a place of worship. But something happened. No one in the village would say what, only that the shrine began to whisper, and those who went there came back different. Or never came back at all. It stood abandoned, hidden deep within the woods. Cracked, leaning, overgrown with vines, but still very much alive in the minds of the villagers. Ada Ikena, a popular content creator in her late 20s, had made a name by exploring haunted or cursed places. With over 1 million followers on YouTube and TikTok combined, she was known for her courage and raw honesty. But lately, her views had dropped. She needed something new, something real. So, when she stumbled on an old Reddit thread about a forbidden shrine in a remote Nigerian village, she knew she had found her next location. With her driver and fixer, she arrived in Okuru. The people were quiet, watching her from behind curtains. At the village square, she met Mama Neka, the oldest woman in the village. "You came to film that shrine, didn't you?" the woman asked, her voice like dry leaves. "How did you?" "Because your spirit is loud, child. But that shrine doesn't care for loud spirits. It remembers, and it feeds." Ada laughed nervously. "It's just a location for a video." Mama Neka shook her head. "It's not just a place. It's a memory that never forgets. Go there and you'll become part of it." Ada ignored the warnings. She had seen worse, haunted houses in Enugu, cursed wells in Jos. This couldn't be different. The next day, with just her camera, backpack, and flashlight, she set out. Her driver refused to take her beyond the tree line. "I won't go near that place. Not even for 1 million naira, he said. She walked alone. The forest was strangely quiet. No birds. No crickets. Just the sound of her boots crunching dry leaves. But after a while, she noticed something strange. The crunching continued even when she stopped walking. She turned. No one. Then she saw it, the shrine. The Ulo Enchita looked worse up close. Its stone walls were cracked, covered in moss. A small wooden door hung loosely on its hinges. Ada turned on her camera. "Okay guys, I'm here. This is the forbidden shrine of Okuru. Locals say it whispers to you, so I'm going to sit inside for 30 minutes to test that theory." She stepped inside. The air grew colder. The walls were lined with strange carvings, like faces without eyes or mouths. She set the camera down and waited. 5 minutes in, nothing. 10 minutes, still silence. Then it began. A soft whisper. No clear words. Just a noise like breath running over dry paper. Ada smiled at the camera. "Did you guys hear that?" But then, the whisper changed. It said her name. "Ada." She froze. "Who's there?" No reply. Only more whispers. "Ada, you left him, why did you leave?" Her eyes widened. That voice, it sounded like her brother, Chike, who died 2 years ago in a car accident. She hadn't spoken about him on any platform. Not even privately. Chike. Suddenly, a flashlight flickered. The air turned icy. The shrine's entrance was gone. Ada screamed. She banged on the walls, but they echoed with voices, her mother, her childhood friend, even the voice of a teacher who died when she was 12. They all whispered her name, and one word over and over. "Remember." Her camera kept recording. Shadows crept across the walls, faces forming out of cracks, each one with hollow eyes and open mouths. Then she saw her own face on the wall. It blinked. Ada, the stone face whispered. You live inside me now. She turned to run, but the shrine had no corners anymore. The walls moved, stretching and twisting like flesh. In the last frame of the video before the screen cut to black, Ada looked into the lens and said, "Don't watch this. Please, don't watch this." 3 days later, a child playing near the forest found a camera lying at the edge of the woods. It was Ada's. The villagers gathered as Mama Neka examined it. She said nothing, only shook her head. The footage was intact. Her fans online saw everything, her entry, the whispers, her fear, her final words. Some thought it was staged. Others weren't so sure. But then something strange began to happen. People who watched the video began hearing whispers in their sleep. Their dreams became filled with a face. Ada's face. And deep in the forest, at the foot of the cracked shrine wall, a new carving had appeared, fresh and perfect. Ada's face. Eyes open. Mouth wide in a silent scream. Before Ada ever heard of Okoro, the shrine already had a long, buried history. Generations ago, the Yulo Enchita was built to honor the god of remembrance, a deity who helped people remember their lost loved ones and their past lives. But one day, a grieving woman named Obiajili entered the shrine to seek a vision of her dead daughter. She spent 3 days inside, crying, praying, begging. When she emerged, she wasn't alone. She spoke with her daughter's voice. She walked with her daughter's limp. And she couldn't remember her own name. From that day, the shrine was no longer a place of peace. It became a prison for memories and souls who had no place in the living world. So the elders sealed it, cursed the ground around it, and banned its mention in song or speech. But the shrine never forgot. And over time, it grew hungry. After Ada vanished, her video went viral. Millions of views. People were obsessed with the mystery. Conspiracy theorists said it was a stunt. Skeptics said it was fake. But her family knew better. Her brother Kenechukwu, a quiet man in his 30s, returned to Okoro determined to find her. He had never believed in spirits, curses, or whispers, but he believed in his sister. He met Mama Neka, who looked older now, almost exhausted by what was coming. "She's still alive," she said. "But not in the way you understand life." Kin shook his head. "Where is she?" "In the walls. In the stone. But you can hear her, if you're willing to pay the price." She handed him a small gourd filled with red earth and charcoal dust. "Bury this by the shrine at midnight. If your heart is true, the shrine will whisper to you." At midnight, Kin crept through the forest. The cold air bit into his bones. Wolves howled in the distance, but none dared approach the shrine. He dug a small hole at the base of the shrine and poured in the contents of the gourd. As the last bit of earth touched the ground, the whispers began. But unlike Ada, Kin could understand them. "Ada is not gone," they said. "But she's not whole. To free her, you must take her place." Suddenly, the door creaked open. He stepped inside. What he saw defied explanation. The walls paused. Memories bled through the stone like veins, images of Ada as a child, crying on her first day of school, laughing on her birthday, walking with their mother in the rain. Then, his own memories appeared. Memories he thought were lost, of him and Ada, of their late father, of the time he tried to take his own life in university but never told a soul. The shrine knew everything. And then he saw her. Ada, sitting in the center of the room, her hair long and tangled, her skin pale. She looked up slowly. Her eyes were empty. "Kin," she whispered. "I'm here," he said, running to her. But the moment he touched her, the ground trembled. "You shouldn't have come," she cried. "Now it won't let either of us leave." The shrine did not allow escape so easily. A disembodied voice echoed through the chamber. One must stay. One must forget. One must remember. Suddenly, Ken was thrust into a vision, a test. He stood before 3 doors. One showed his happiest memory. One showed his greatest regret. The last showed his worst fear. He had to choose. If he chose happiness, he would forget Ede forever and live a life of peace. If he chose regret, he would be tormented by his past and be trapped in the shrine. If he chose fear, he would confront the spirit holding Ede captive. With trembling hands, he opened the 3rd door. Inside the 3rd door stood a tall, shadowy figure, its face ever changing. One moment it was his mother. Then Ada. Then himself. I am what you run from, the figure said. I am the pain you buried. It lunged at him, dragging him into a vision where he was a boy again, watching Ada drown in a river he couldn't swim across. He screamed, relieving the helplessness. But this time, he dove in. He grabbed her hand. The moment their hands touched, the vision shattered. The figure howled and melted into the ground. The shrine cracked. Ada gasped, eyes wide with color returning. The door to the outside reopened. Chapter 6, Return to the World. Ken and Ada stumbled out into the forest as the shrine collapsed behind them. But as they turned to run, only Ken's footsteps echoed. He turned back. Ada was still by the shrine. Smiling, but not moving. I can't leave, she said softly. Not all of me, anyway. But I gave you back yours. She touched his forehead. He collapsed. Epilogue, a new shrine. Ken woke up back in his home, weeks later. The forest had burned. The shrine was gone. The villagers called it a blessing. But Ken knew better. He kept Ada's camera, now empty of footage. But sometimes, at night, when he closed his eyes, he heard her voice. Whispering. Not crying. Not screaming. Just remembering. And across the world, in the phones of those who watched her last video, a glitch began to appear. A single frame, barely visible.